Welcome aboard to this edition of Barnstable Today. I'm Kevin Friel. I'd like to remind you right at the top that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website. Log on over at www.town.barnstable.ma.us. A new committee will start to meet this week in the town of Barnstable, that being the CAC, or Citizens Advisory Committee. Coming up right now on the show, we have an interview with DPW Director Mark Ells. He will be discussing the formulation of this new committee, and he describes the roles and responsibilities. We're with Department of Public Works Director Mark Ells. We're here today discussing a new committee that's been formulated within the town. Mark, why don't you tell us about what that new committee is?
Sure. As part of our comprehensive water management planning in town, which is looking at how we're going to deal with the nutrient loading issues that exist within the town of Barnstable, a Citizens Advisory Committee is required as part of that process. They become the advisory group of citizens within our community to be able to report back on all the aspects of this planning process. So they're a critical aspect of us being able to move forward with an implementation plan for our comprehensive water management plan.
Okay, and I'm sure that this group has been formulated after a great number of effort has been put into that wastewater management planning. Mark, could you sort of tell us about what's gone on up until this point with wastewater management?
Well, actually quite a bit in Barnstable and Cape Wide. But really the CAC is being brought in right at the decision-making stage so that we have a scope, we have studies, we have the work of the Mass Estuaries Project, which is basically a technical evaluation of all of the embayments across southeastern New England. And then the results of that. And now it's time for us as a community to sit down and begin to organize it, begin to evaluate what our alternatives are to address the challenges that are identified in those studies and that come with the establishment of some regulatory limits called or referred to as TMDLs within these coastal embayments. So the CAC won't be a committee where we're telling them the results. It'll be a committee where they will participate and actively provide us guidance as we move forward with completing an implementation plan so that we may go forward with addressing these challenges we have in our community.
You just mentioned TMDL. For someone who's a casual listener at home, could you just tell us what that is and tell us what the maximum loads are here within Barnstable?
Well, it's the total maximum daily load. And basically we've studied, or we are in the process of studying, the 5 major embayments within our community. Pompanesett Bay, Shoestring Bay, the technical report is complete and the TMDLs have been established. 3 bays, same, and then Centerville River, East Bay are complete. Lewis Bay is almost complete, and Barnstable Harbor is nearing completion. So in essence, we know how much that bay can handle in nutrient load. We also know that the 3 that are completed exceed what they can handle. And so what we're tasked with is putting together an implementation plan to address that. Now recently there's been a lot of focus on the fact that we just want to build big treatment plants all over the place. That is absolutely not the approach to this. It hasn't been the approach. We're looking at everything from land use, dredging. Wastewater is certainly a big component of this, fertilizer management, and then other innovative ways. We just met with the the Secretary of the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs to talk about whether the state will consider funding some of these innovative approaches that we're considering. The CAC, the citizens of our community, need to be active participants in this. And if people are wondering where all this information is, we've held hearings certainly, but you can log on to our website and go down to the left corner and look at Our Water, and from there access all these reports and many sites and a lot of information about this issue and where we are today, and then certainly participate in the processes that we're entering into.
This is going to go a little bit beyond the scope of the town of Barnstable, but I just want to ask this question because wastewater is an issue throughout the whole Cape.
and I was just wondering if you knew, if you were close with some of the initiatives that other towns may be pursuing, if they're starting advisories like this, and if you know sort of their background at all.
Well, yes, and actually every community that I'm aware of that proceeds with this sort of comprehensive water management planning creates a Citizens Advisory Committee, engages the citizenry to participate in this process. And I think a lot of what's going on right now with some of the planning that has been complete and implemented, we're seeing a lot of residents certainly come to discuss this issue now. I think that our community will recognize very quickly that we need to do it even earlier than occurred this time. We need to do this now as part of this process because the results of this will be significant.
Let's talk about the council, the committee itself. How many people are on the committee? When will they be meeting? And we're talking about this now because they are actually just starting to get underway, getting their work started. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I actually don't know the total number that participate, but the first meeting is tomorrow evening, 5 p.m., here at Town Hall on the second floor in the council chambers. And we will be meeting, the schedule will be established. The process that we're entering into is probably a 12 to 18 month process, but we control that process. If we need to take more time in working through these issues, we will. If we can move through certain issues expeditiously, we will. So that's to be established as we move through. And so we'll have a citizens advisory group. We'll have a technical advisory group, which will be our consultant and the Mass Estuaries and DEP and others. And then we'll be just meeting regularly and bringing both of those together at the appropriate times to make sure that we have the input that we need.
Great, Mark. Is there anything I might have missed, that's something that you would like to get out about this new committee that's beginning?
Well, I think that we want to communicate to all of our residents that they need to participate in this process somehow. I mean, they can't all necessarily come to a committee meeting, but they can contact their public works or their town. They can certainly log on to our website, and we need to hear from them. We need them active in this. We don't want them coming to us when the implementation plan is set and the bills are sent, and then asking the questions. We want them as early as possible. So, and that's a big part of what we're hoping to gain from the involvement of the CAC, because you want a broad representation of who's in our community. We can hear all viewpoints, and we can end up with the best plan possible.
Could you tell us just before we go? Could you tell us a little bit about the composition? Are we going to have some people who work in the business in wastewater treatment, or is it going to be
the only criteria is that they're representative of our community?
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Yes.
Well, thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks for coming on the show, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The first meeting of the new Citizens Advisory Committee will take place Thursday, December 10th at 5 o'clock in the Town Hall hearing room. And here's a look at the meetings for the remainder of the week. At 7 o'clock, the Zoning Board of Appeals meets in the Town Hall hearing room. Also at 7 at the West Barnstable Community Building, Old Kings Highway, will meet. For Thursday, December 10th at 9 o'clock in the morning, Site Plan Review has a meeting in the Town Hall hearing room. Then at 5 o'clock in the evening, the Citizens Advisory Committee will meet in the Town Hall hearing room. That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Barnstable Today. I'm Kevin Friel.